Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another playoff edition of the Log Jam.
Welcome to the Log Jam. Billy, I see you rolled your way into the semis, man.
Ooh, baby. Do you guys know who Deontay Johnson is?
The Rock?
No, that's Dwayne Johnson.
No, I have no idea.
Ask Tom.
I don't want to talk about it. It's a punt returner. He's a punt returner. Scores 75 fucking points. Sweet.
I mean, that's what the game's about. The game's about inserting the right players at the right time. And, Billy did that this week, and it advanced him into the semis. So congratulations to the Poway Titans.
I mean, you make fun of Austin Eckler, but Austin Eckler was a keeper.
Yeah.
It was an all-around beatdown. I thought I escaped a little Lamar Jackson pain, but he came and smacked me around, man. It's a nice win. Congratulations.
Oh, let's talk about my two tight ends I'm starting in the playoffs, too.
We do have to talk about the rarely. We'll get to that in the playoff preview for sure.
Awesome.
But let's get into last week's games. Let's talk a little bit about the Hammers and the Zorros.
I think this was an exciting game to watch, just because of the no love lost between these two teams. And Joel trying to get into his first championship, win his first championship. Ari's trying to get his second. It just played out this time, Joel, where you got sent to the losers bracket and the commish advances.
It's got to be frustrating for the Zorros for how much off-season work he did and how much selling of his soul and stealing and pillaging of other people's teams. And wow, he really rolled the dice and it kind of blew up in his face, kind of like a Mexican piñata.
It kind of was like a piñata. You think about it, Joel's traded his whole first half of the draft to Ari, and now he loses to Ari. And all those picks next year are going to Ari, so it really does look like a sad end for this season for the Zorros.
Ideas meal.
I think it's just a reflection of society in general, where the immigrant is going out to now do the work for the rich, for the moneyed class. Yeah, for sure. So it is a big win for the Hammers. The Hammers. Still technically with the blue balls around their neck.
Yes.
But as it's easy to forget, they are the champions from 2 seasons ago. Two wins in 3 years would make quite an impression over the maybe the underperformance from the first couple of years.
He'd become Adam Sandler in the new movie, The Jeweler. You know what I mean? Just try to be like a gangster Jew.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it puts a number of storylines into the playoffs. With Ari trying to, like you said, win 2 out of 3. And the next game we're going to talk about probably we're further on down the road. We're going to talk about the Fury being in the semis. They're trying to win back-to-back for the first time. Howe is in the semis now. He's trying to win his second. Join Corey and I as the only 2-time champions.
Well, you're about to be a 4-time eligible
well, I don't know
champion.
about to be, but it's definitely possible.
We'll get to
That leaves the OBJYN or Marcy Buku, better known as the Slappy Bass Steve Faulkner, who is trying to win his first championship. So there's some great storylines here as we move forward.
Yeah, only 9. He would be the 9th team of the 10 teams existing to be a champion.
Yes.
So a lot on the line coming up. Again, just to recap, Avengers Titans. Looked like a close game. There was a number of jinxes back and forth over text on the private side. But
I'd like to actually say that, on live TV, Tom, you've raised your game of trash talking. And next week, there might be some special things coming for the OBJYNs. I know your address. Let's just put it that way.
Nicely done.
Absolutely. Well, it was all in vain. I pick up Garoppolo. I don't think you consider necessarily starting him. I have the Josh Jacobs questions. Like, just Mike Evans getting hurt was kind of the moment. You're like, man, I need a big number. There's a touchdown. He's out for the game. You just didn't think it was going to go. And then, of course, Eckler and the rest. So congratulations, Billy.
Thanks again.
Couple notes we wanted to get into before we talked about the playoffs. Lots of things going on in the NFL right now. You see the more Camergate, more allegations of impropriety out of the New England Patriots.
Absolutely.
If you're reading about this, they sent a crew ostensibly as a marketing, doing production for the in-game show, the Do Your Job segment that would run in games. But they were filming the Bengals sideline.
I'm an avid Patriots hater. Have been since the whole Charles Woodson didn't cause a fumble in the playoffs back in the day against Tom Brady. Yeah. They're cheating, man. They have a track record of it. Deflating balls, filming, getting blowjobs in Asian areas for $100. Like, give me the address for that place.
Yeah, there's
in Florida.
There's a number of things that I think we can find the Patriots guilty for, as far as riding that line of morally cheating.
I think it's unambiguous. I think they are crossing the line.
But this is one to me that really it's the Bengals. You have to film the fucking Bengals side. Like, you have to cheat to beat
they're
the
on
Bengals.
To Cincinnati, so they're probably doing it everywhere else. What would be your thought if you were the commissioner? What would be the punishment you'd give to the Pats?
I mean, the thought of a suspension for the GM and the coach has to be if this is true. This is clearly like where the other ones are violations of, they were filming. They did deflate footballs. They found these things. There were sanctions. There was draft picks. Yep. At some point, you got to cut the head off the line.
Yeah. Like you said, they've already taken draft picks. They've already and it just doesn't seem to matter because whether it's Belichick or whether it's the organization going out and getting players that they can just plug and play. I mean, great organization. Let's not take that away from them, but you got to hit them where it hurts. I mean, and obviously
maybe something organizationally.
Yeah, take away their logo. Take away they're no longer the New England Patriots, because that's bullshit. They're not Patriots. If anything, they should be a spotted cat. The fast one in the desert or the jungle, the fastest cat.
The cheetah. The cheetahs. The Boston Cheetahs.
New England Cheetahs.
Sounds right there. No, that absolutely makes sense. Maybe they are Patriots. I mean, the people that are... Well, let's not get into running our country right now. Let's go to other news, controversies around the league. 49ers analyst Tim Ryan suspended for a game. Coming out of last week's a beating, the Niners went into the Ravens. He
you're talking about
was suggesting that
Lamar
Jackson had an unfair advantage because he was able to camouflage the ball with the color of his skin. I mean, this is I think above. It's information we should talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that you're able to hide the ball better with African American hands than you would be able to with Caucasian hands, or
Did you see how he responded? Did you see how the Titans and Lamar responded
this week?
Yeah. Did you see what he did?
I saw it.
Did you?
Yes.
I did. Well, I mean, you had to because you were probably watching the whole game.
Yeah, we were interested to see what was going to happen.
We decided to go and buck the system, and we went white gloves, white sleeves, just to say, fuck yourself, come get us. And how'd it work out, Tom?
I don't know, but Daddy's facing the same thing next week.
I mean, this would be the equivalent of saying that in Major League Baseball that we should change the color of the baseball, or that white pitchers have an advantage because that object coming out of their hand is last seen. It's a silly statement. I guess Tim Ryan, who I don't really even know who he is, he works for the Niners, I guess. I don't know what his job description is, but
his job description is color analysis. In fairness, he was analyzing the color of the football, and it got blown out of proportion.
Well, then I guess he's doing his job.
Kind of, right? I mean, it's in the...
It's right there. It's right there in the description.
There's usually two guys on every broadcast, right? You got a play-by-play
and a color
and a colored analyst. So maybe the one guy was like, Lamar drops back, and the guy's like, and with his black hands, he hands up. I don't know.
Well, the last time we saw that, it was Howard Cosell. Look at the little monkey run. And we know where that ended him, and I don't think there's any room in the game for that kind of thing. It was a sad situation, but certainly worth discussing. That's going to get us to our playoff preview, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I think we're not going to do a whole lot of previews. We'll get to picks on the losers bracket games. We're just going to talk about the two games. The number 3 Poway Titans going in and facing the number 2 9-4 OBJ.
On the road again, we're 20-point underdogs, but we've been overcoming every week. We're a all or broke gambling kind of team, So we're here, we're dangerous, but that Thursday night game with Lamar against the Jets has me kind of up in arms. I don't know what we're really.
Well, you're happy about the Jets. You're worried about Thursday night.
Yeah, I am, and I'm worried about what color gloves and sleeves we're going to put out there on the field this week.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't really. I remember vaguely the feeling of this week that OBJYN and Billy are going to have, which is like constantly looking at your lineup, going, "Oh my God, am I making the right decision? You know, is leaving Mark Ingram on my bench going to cost me, or should I put him in? Should I take?" And I haven't had that feeling in a while. You know, I mean, obviously, being down in that bottom bracket, I'm going to start who I start, but you know, I remember being just so nervous for this game. I'm sure you and Steve are. And good luck to both of you. Got a lot of decisions to make and hopefully not a lot of second guessing.
Oh boy, just make sure everybody's eligible this week, Steve.
If you look back into week 2 of this week, the OBJs did put a whooping on Poway, who scored 157, but OBJs put up 171. Looking at that game, though, I did not see Ryan Tannehill starting at quarterback. It's a different OBJ team you're facing.
It is. It'll be fun.
And they're playing Houston. Houston, you know, has, I think, something to bounce back from and something to prove, and their defense is pretty decent. I think that's going to be a good old NFC, you know, or NFC South. AFC South, whatever, I forget but they're down south, so it's going to be a good matchup.
South.
Tillman South. All right, the other playoff matchup, the number 1 Fury at 11-2, hosting the Hebrew Hammers, coming in out of that 5-seed upset, 7-6. Who do you like, boys?
I'm going to go ahead and take, the guy who hasn't had to have anyone score over 120 points against him all year. I'm going to have to take the Fury. I think he's going to do a dump truck back up into the championship game, kind of like your playoff run, Tom.
Ooh, well, I am losers of 5 straight, so I guess I deserve that. I got a little aggressive on going to picks there. Just general thoughts on the game. Do you...
I think this is going to be a great matchup to watch. I mean, again, you know, the commissioner against the guy who, you know, doesn't pick after the 12th round, the guy who puts all his effort into this league to make it, enjoyable, and the guy who, you know, sexually harasses waitresses so he can't get back invited to places. But I mean, it's like, you know, I don't know if it's good versus evil or, you know, the rabbi versus, you know, the Diablo, but it should be a hell of a game.
The last 2 appearances or matchups this week, Benter, his vaunted defense, again held the Hammers under 120 each time, winning 124-116 and 132-119. It's the storyline of Benter all year, scoring in the mid-120s, 130s, having a team put up a not that great of an effort. It seems to me like a Benter team that could be exposed to a big week, but he's going to put up a medium-sized number. It's going to be an interesting matchup to watch.
It is, and I mean, obviously we'll take our picks as we move forward, but one of the things to watch is going to be the right hand of Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh, it's bruised up,
so
pretty bad.
We'll see how that goes.
Broke.
They're facing a pretty decent team this week and a pretty decent defense, so he's been relying on him all year. Ari, on the other hand, has been relying on Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones. They play the Bears this week with this is going to be a fun one to watch.
Start looking for weather. You start looking for all the different things that will affect a Week 16 matchup. So, good things. Speaking of picks, let's get to it.
Sure.
We're going to start with the first annual 2-week Dangler Bowl.
Yeah. This is the first time we've gone 2 weeks for the Blue Balls, and I don't think it's going to favor the Pimps. It's the Pimps versus the Sin, so I don't think it's going to favor the Pimps here because Corey is able to put up so many points throughout the year. I think maybe in a 1 week window, maybe. But a 2 week average, I just don't think this is going to look very good for the Pimps. I think, we may be acquiring more paraphernalia to be had at league meetings. Hopefully,
as alluded to earlier, it would be Darren's 4th trophy in the league, the 2 being the championships that you proudly have the medals. But having previously won the Dangler, this is an important matchup. And over 2 weeks, you would think it would be the kind of thing that the team would have an even better advantage, the team that had scored more points throughout the year. But you have a Sin team that struggled in the last couple of weeks, put up 109 this week.
I think it's going to be that 2 week thing, man. That's scary, right? Like the law of averages is really against you. Corey, though, It's
Well,
written.
yeah,
It's going to happen.
So you're taking,
If it's a cumulative, right, I could put up 187
No, but I still
in the
feel like
first
it's
week,
gonna be Corey.
and then just drop another 130. And
I don't want to, but I have to. It's just the way it's going for him this year.
All right, I'm going to jump on the other side of that. I do think in the numbers. Plus, it's not only the 2 weeks. I think you have to play against the league average again, plus the square root of the championship game.
Well, it's the league average versus what everybody scored in week 3. So, and we're going to take week 3, divide it down the middle. Whatever that average is becomes the league average, and then a 2-week blue ball meeting.
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, if you check your rule books, I think you'll have that all in your email. Who's that put you on? It's your game, buddy. You taking the sin?
Oh man, I got to take the sin here. I mean, if I'll take the sin to beat us.
All right. Well, let's two picks for the sin. Going down in the losers bracket, the team's playing for the first pick in the draft. We have the Zorros coming out of the winners bracket, taking on last week's winner, Young and Confused. Who do we like?
I'm going to take the Young and Confused here. His team seems to have woken up in the playoffs, and I'd just like to see him have the first round pick. I think that's going to bring him back to us and make him really want to fuck some people shit up.
All right.
I will also take Young and Confused. I think he may be getting James Conner back this week, which would be a huge boost. I mean, yeah, he scored 155. But that was with 53 burger on the bench of Drew Brees. Yeah, Deshaun Watson scored 30, but there's just some firepower that that's starting to acquire here. And James Conner coming back, I'm going to take Young and Confused as well.
All right, I'm going to jump on the other side of this. I think the Zorros coming down out of the winners bracket, plus the fact of Ari's picks. I think it's one of those things. I'm going Zorros.
Okay.
Matchup number 2. That's us, the Avalon Avengers, taking on Who's Your Daddy.
I'm going to go Daddy here. Sorry. I just think it's his time. I think Avalon is going to be reeling from last week. I think his players are just going to be done. I think they're probably all on their way to South Beach, kind of. You know how that's
possible.
There.
Yeah, it's possible. I think there's some things to consider. Like, let's say Calvin Ridley's out. That makes Julio Jones a bigger asset. I think the Dallas Cowboys are a little more desperate than other teams, so maybe they ride Zeke a little more. I'm going to take the Avengers here.
All right, I appreciate the set from Darriman. I just think that coming off a 5-week skid, it looks like the Avengers probably have a coaching change coming up, probably have lost the team, haven't scored more than 110 points in about 6 weeks. There's just no way the Avengers win this game. You've got to take Daddy here.
Round of both.
All right. We are at the semifinals, gentlemen.
These are the games that matter.
The 2-3 game. Poway, OBJ, Darren, who you like?
First of all, OBJ is the point. I think if we look, he has more accumulative points, but it's not by much. It's like, I think you finished 3rd in points or something. Yeah. So it's right there. I think this is a powerhouse matchup. I kind of want to take the home team here. But then I look at some of the things as far as coaching decisions that currently might be happening with OBJ. And like I said, when you have 5 running backs and they're all viable, it becomes like, who do you start? And you start second guess. You pull a guy last minute.
I wish I had that.
Oh man, I think though I'm gonna take, for the jinx curse and the fact that I kind of want to keep the championship on a pod team member here. I'm gonna take OBJYN and invoke the curse.
Yep, I'm gonna stay on that bandwagon. I do think that OBJ has sort of been the team of destiny. He was a team I liked early in the league.
He's done a great job this year.
Poway, I mean, it feels like a team you can beat every week, but there he is with 150, 165. But I am going to put my mark on OBJ as the winner of this game. Billy, it's your game.
Last week, I wore green and gray. I took myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it again this week.
And
the cool thing is, I have not one starting running back, so I already know what running back is. I have 2 starting tight ends. Those guys are coming at you too.
It is a little
shootout.
bit unprecedented league of gentlemen.
I've been on my own all year.
Jim
I was
Harbaugh.
picked to finish last in this league.
He's just
Now
going
in
to
the
keep talking.
semis.
We can go back and forth. Must be on a diatribe.
So the Titans are coming at you, baby.
The Titans are coming at you with the two tight end set. Remember those Titans. Last game of the week, the number 5 Hammers at the Fury. Billy?
I want to do a try him 11.
All right, I'm in. I'll take the Hammers.
So you're saying it's up to me to go against my pick of the Fury. Why not? The
Yeah!
Triumph! tuning in. It is the semifinal week. It's been a fantastic year so far. I hope for as good a games this week as we got last week.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Good luck to everybody. Get your starters in.
Take your ulcer medicine.
Yeah, get ready, dude. This is getting real, and good luck to all of you playing for anything remaining.
Thank you, guys.